What's up, y'all? It's time to break down the Dallas Cowboys here on Around the Felt.
Buddy,
Yes,
this
sir.
guy's
Yes, sir.
never been to the South. Never been to the South with that performance.
No, sir. No, sir. But yeah, we are going to be breaking down the Dallas Cowboys tonight. I think they're going to do a little bit better than last year. I think so. Colin, what do you think, man? You excited
We're
to
going to
talk about the
find out
Cowboys?
very shortly.
Excited to talk about the Cowboys?
I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys. 7-10 record last year. Obviously, Dak Prescott missed a lot of the season. Their win total set up at 7.5 this year. So right in line with what it was last year. I mean, if you're Dallas, you're hoping that Dak doesn't have a season-ending injury in Week 9 again after you paid him all that money. Some key adds here. Tyler Booker, they took 12th overall to replace Zach Martin. Donovan Ezeraku, pass rusher from Boston College. Great pick in the second round, Jerry.
Yeah, definitely fell to them. First-round talent right there.
Yep. Kenneth Murray, former linebacker of the Chargers. You might know him from his Oklahoma days. Robert Jones, Javonte Williams, Solomon Thomas, and Kyer Elam, former Gator. Go Gators. Has not lived up to his draft status in Buffalo. Some losses. Some big ones here, Reagan. Zach Martin, their Hall of Fame guard, retires. Had 0 holding calls in pass pro in 11 years. You hear that, you're like, holy shit, that is insane. They lost Demarcus Lawrence, one of their leaders on the defense. Jordan Lewis, Brandin Cooks, Chauncey Golston, and Rico Dowdle, their leading rusher from a year ago. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-12 in the playoffs in their 12 appearances since 1998. And they just watched the Washington Commanders go to the NFC Championship game last year, playing also in their division, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sure that sat well with Jerry Jones. With all that being said, Reagan, where do you have the Dallas Cowboys in 2025?
I got them going 7-10. I don't know, because
the same as last year, 7-10.
Yeah.
No better, no worse.
No, because ultimately, I just don't love this roster on paper. I mean, I'm glad they got out. I mean, I'm glad. I think George Pickens is a good move, getting him. I think that's good. The offensive line, that was such a question mark right now. You lose a staple like that for retirement. So, and then the running backs, I mean, just the run game's not going to be existent again this year. I mean, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, guys that have bounced around now, on their second and third teams, but guys that really haven't done a lot of production in this league. Like Sanders had one good year and Javonte looked good before the injury. Obviously you draft Blue and Maffa. So I'm hoping, big on Maffa. I'll get into that a little bit later on, but hoping that one of those guys is able to take over. I do like how they went out and got Joe Milton too. I think that's, a good backup and a good dart throw there. I do like Ferguson a lot. CeeDee's obviously a beast. And on the defensive side of the ball, getting Dante Fowler, a guy who just had a big season, huge. A lot of first-round picks throughout this defense, honestly. It's littered with them all on the defensive line. Micah's going to do Micah things. I mean, he's going to have to play on a DPOY level for them to make the playoffs. Like, I'm not even a Dallas Cowboy hater like most people. Like, I have no issue with them. It's just I just think the offense is going to be just doesn't have enough talent. Like outside of CeeDee Pickens and Dak and Ferguson, like the line's not great and the running game is not going to be existent. So it's hard for me to have them winning more than 7 games when it's going to be like a weird cast. So what do you got them now?
Yeah, I got them at 7-10 as well, my friend. Great minds think alike. Before I get into why, I just want to rant about Jerry Jones real quick. Did you see his press conference today?
No.
So they were asking about a deal for Parsons and why he's waiting. They're like, why'd you wait? Like, it takes so long for Dak and CeeDee. He's like, well, should we have paid Dak? Should we have paid Diggs? Should we have paid Steele? Looking back, and he's bashing Dak and Diggs for missing games due to injury after paying them. And all the outrage is, oh, yeah, let's just, instead of paying guys, drafting good players, paying them early before the market resets, because it will every year. Instead of doing that like smart teams do, the Eagles, Howie Roseman, you're going to go and publicly bash some of your best players after you paid them when they got hurt battling on the field for your team and your franchise. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I didn't know that, but that's definitely something that wouldn't make me excited as a Cowboys fan. I mean, that wouldn't give me a whole lot of confidence, where he's bashing some of the staples of the franchise. I mean, he's not necessarily wrong in the sense where, but like it's injury related. It's not play related,
Yes.
You can't really help. And Dak, let's not forget, like 2 years ago when Dak was healthy, he was an MVP level candidate.
He was. He absolutely
Like
was.
he
He
was,
was really
I had
damn
him
good
in
in
fantasy football.
2023.
He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was. So very interesting to me. And I know you brought up Micah Parsons. He's a 3-time All-Pro. He's one of the best players in football, period.
Yeah.
TJ Watt.
He is their best player. He's the best player on the team.
Yeah. I'm saying he's one of the best players in football, period.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What did TJ Watt just do? Just set the record for the most money for a non-quarterback in NFL history. The longer you wait, the higher that dollar value is going to go for someone of the age and caliber of Micah Parsons. So it's really asinine to me. And they wonder why they're in cap hell. Is because they wait too long and they lose all the leverage. And then, guys like Dak and CeeDee break the market. Parsons is going to break the market. So this team, when you have all these big contracts, they haven't done the best job of timing it correctly and filling in the gaps. I agree with you, Reagan. I don't love this team on paper. Like, they have star power. They don't have the depth. They don't have the supporting cast. I mean, last year, even with Dak, they were 3-5. And he had a career low completion rate and career low QBR. So that's not ideal. And that was after he was so good in 2023. So I think Dak will settle somewhere in the middle this year of those two. I don't think he'll be as good as 2023. I don't think he'll be as bad as 2024. He's 32 years old now.
As good as 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it's MVP caliber.
The offense is just way worse.
Yeah, a lot of question marks on the offensive line. Now you lose your centerpiece in Zach Martin. Tyler Smith, I mean, I know they got a lot of slack for taking him when they did out of Tulsa, 24th overall a couple years back. He's developed in one of the best interior offensive linemen in the league, though. So at least you have that anchor. I mean, ESPN had him as 24th in pass block win rate last year. Now you lose Zach Martin, replace him with Tyler Booker, who might be a damn good player, but 12th overall, I don't know, taking interior offensive lineman seemed a little rich in that spot. You could have added a Tyler Warren or something like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on them going with Booker at 12?
I liked it. It may have been a bit of a reach. I mean, you usually don't see guards going that early, but man, I mean, look at what Zach Martin was for this team and, how big of a staple he was. And I'm pretty sure he was a top 10, top 5 pick.
He was top 15 for sure.
So, you see what the guard position has meant to this team. So if they really do believe in this guy, go out and get him. Don't wait. So I'm cool with it. He's just got to pan out. Like, he's going to be a big X factor for this team. But I already like hearing this guy and seeing what he's doing. He's all over the place out in Dallas. He sounds like a good dude and, wants to be there and is all excited. So he was a stud at Bama too. And I believe he has tackle flexibility as well. So that's nice as well. Yeah,
they'll probably keep him at guard because he is a mauler in the run game.
No, but I just mean like injuries and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Of course. But, going back to the running back room, as you mentioned, with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders.
Puke.
I think this is the worst running back room in football, to be frank with you. It's really bad. They're one of the worst rushing offenses in the league last year. I know Rico went for 1,000, like whatever, dude. In 17 games,
yeah. Well, that's
hard.
the thing, though. I'm surprised
it's not that hard, though.
Walk though, like they paid the other guy, like Sanders. They let Rico walk and swap spots with Miles Sanders because he went to the Panthers. But it's like Rico went for 1,000. You really think Javonte or Miles Sanders is going to be better?
I mean,
I don't know.
I actually think Javonte is going to be trash. I want no shares of Javonte Williams in fantasy or anything. Going to Javonte. Denver had the #1 run block win rate of all offensive lines last year, and he was still garbage.
No, I didn't.
He was 45th out of 47 backs in rush yards over expected, 42nd out of 46 backs in yards per carry, and he was towards the bottom in explosiveness, stuff rate, and fumbles. That just screams bad player, never recovered from the knee. Feel bad for him after his good rookie year in Denver. He's going to be trash. Miles Sanders, I saw he came to the Dallas Cowboys because he hates the Eagles so much because they were like, you're not worth the money. All right, Miles Sanders, you're garbage too. Like, I don't think he's going to do anything for this offense. I know you mentioned Maffa. I like Blue a lot. I think he ran a 4.28 40 in the combine, which was the best of all backs this year. He's a great receiver, had 42 catches and 6 touchdowns at Texas last year. So I think they'll use him a lot in that regard. I just don't think he's a 3-down back, though, which is where your guy Maffa comes into play.
Yeah, and where I think he could be. I mean, Maffa put a big production at Clemson. I mean, Blue, the tough thing, being 5'9", 196 is going to be tough. But Maffa is just a fucking beast, bro. I mean, he's huge. If he can actually shed a couple pounds, I mean, 6'1", 234, he's a big
Whew.
boy.
Yeah, that's a
So
big boy.
I think he could become that Ezekiel Elliott that we saw for the team. Not prime Zeke, but like a version of that, where like big ground and pound guy, getting you the tough yards you need. So I'm interested in both of those guys because Deuce Vaughn definitely could be a cut candidate. I actually think Sanders or Williams, one of them may get cut. To be honest, I find it hard to believe that they go in with both rookie running backs and Sanders and Williams. So I wouldn't be shocked if either of those guys get cut. So I'm all for grabbing all the blue and Maffa stocks everywhere you can in Dynasty and in fantasy leagues, because I think both guys will have the opportunity and the chances to become something here this year. So definitely look out for those guys in all your leagues. I've been taking stock in both of them in like all underdog leagues as well late.
Yeah, I think they're very smart to take an underdog because this is anyone's backfield to win at this point.
And Dynasty too.
Yes. And then going to the receiver room, I mean, of course, CeeDee Lamb, beast, 150 targets 3 years in a row, 32.3% target share last year. I don't see that changing, even with the addition of George Pickens. He's averaged over 15 yards per catch in each of his 3 seasons with bad quarterback play and run-heavy offenses. And Dak loves throwing the deep ball. He's one of the best at it, and that's where Pickens thrives. So it could be a good marriage. I just thought it was a bold move from Jerry Jones, considering it's the last year of his deal. If he has a big season, then it's another guy you got to pay. So for the Cowboys, for this season, it should pay dividends. It certainly will boost his passing offense, getting CeeDee Lamb some help. But long term, I don't know if Pickens is going to fit into their plans with the pending contracts. But, we'll see what Jerry Jones decides to do there. I do like Ferguson as well. Obviously took a step back last year, which is kind of disappointing because I was very high on him. He's actually, when we did our fantasy episode last year, he was the tight end I was targeting kind of in that 8 range where I was like, I think he has top 5 potential because there's nothing outside of CeeDee Lamb. I
still think he does.
Yeah, I mean, he does. Now you have Pickens in the picture, though. But last year it made a lot of sense after a strong first season and Dak coming off his MVP almost caliber performance and with no one outside of CeeDee. It was disappointing from Ferguson for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was. But I do think he'll bounce back, and I think the addition of Pickens definitely helps, but also like those short, like when he's like scrambling in the pocket and trying to look for a check down, like that's going to be Ferguson. There's no back right now that you could point to that's going to be that, So I think Ferguson is going to be a benefactor for that. I think he could have like 70, 80 catches this year, honestly. I don't know if the yards will be there in the touchdowns, but I think he'll have a lot of catches.
Potentially. Now, one thing I want to bring about Pickens before I move to the defense, the Steelers kind of have a history of knowing, one, when to pick a receiver in the draft because they hit on so many day 2 guys, but 2, when to move off of guys.
This is true. This is very true.
Antonio Brown, like when he left, he played like 7 games in 3 years. We know his whole fiasco. Chase Claypool has been garbage. Nothing. Didn't even log a snap last year. Deontay Johnson's gone off the rockers.
Mike Wallace.
Martavis Bryant as well. Back in the day when he left, he went over 1,000 yards at Pittsburgh. When he left, he did nothing. And Juju as well. Juju went for over 1,000 yards, left Pittsburgh. Now, granted, he's had some spot plays with Kansas City playing with Patrick Mahomes.
Still not like
seriously, like, isn't that weird though? All these guys the Steelers moved off.
Antonio Holmes worked out all right though when he left and went to the Jets.
So that's one guy out of I think 7 or 8 we named that actually panned out. So just something to be mindful of with George Pickens this year. He's definitely a risky asset, I think.
Oh, definitely. But you still got to play him with full confidence. I did go out and get him in a dynasty league because at the end of the day, like he's on the last year of his contract. So, whether it's with Dallas or somewhere else, I mean, he's going to be playing for a future deal here. So I'm buying that it works out, but it's definitely an interesting spot to be in. It could go a lot of different ways, but I'm hoping, big year for him and somebody pays him to come in as the number 1. Cause I don't know if I would be thrilled having him in dynasty as the number 2 for Dallas going forward. I mean, there's a lot worse spots to be the number 2 on, but you hope he becomes, some team pays him to be the number 1.
Yeah. He's a good flex play for 2025, I think, but I have no shares of Pickens as of right now. That could change. I definitely see the vision, especially with Dak's deep ball, but there is a lot of risk. So I'm not really looking to give up a first-round pick or anything in that regard to get him, even given his age. But that's just me. Going to the defense, I mean, they were awful against the run last year. As good as Micah Parsons is, he's not the best against the run. Demarcus Lawrence was kind of that guy, and he's gone. They allowed the third most yards per attempt last year and the most rushing touchdowns with 25. A big reason with that is, you mentioned the first round picks they have in this defense, one of them being Mozzie Smith, who they took out of Michigan 2 years ago. I mean, he's just been bad. Really, maybe 3 years ago. I'm sorry, but he's just been bad. Osa Zigizua, they gave a 4-year deal. He was pretty good for them last year, so I'm happy he's back. They had 52 sacks last year, third best in the league, had the best pressure rate, and you added Dante Fowler with his 10.5 sacks from the Commanders last season, poaching him from division rival to bring over across from Micah Parsons to replace Demarcus Lawrence. I like that. I really like Demarion Overshown, the linebacker they took out of Texas. He did have a late season knee injury, so probably won't be ready for the start of the season, but he's very important for this defense heading into 2025. The secondary, I mean, it's so boom or bust, not just with their play style, but what are you going to get from them? Because, of course, Bland and Diggs are boom or bust guys. They allowed some big plays, but they also can have a pick six and flip the switch and change a game at any moment. But
Diggs, they took Ravel.
Yeah, and they took Ravel.
We thought was going to be a first-round pick.
ECU, very early on. We had him, I think, in our first mock going in the first round. Ended up sliding because of his recovery from a torn ACL mid-season. But he's got the tools. He's 6'3". He's fast as shit. He's got the tools to be a ball hawk in this defense. But, I know Jerry Jones shit on Diggs. He's not wrong in the sense that Diggs only played 13 games over the past 2 seasons, dealing with chronic knee injuries. Only 6 picks since 2021, when I think he had 11 in 2021. He's likely to miss the start of the season, so that's not good for Diggs. They allowed the second most yards per attempt as a secondary last year, 28th in touchdown rate. They got burnt. Now, Deron Bland did miss the first 10 games, so that didn't help. But, you bring back Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson in the back end, who aren't great. I don't love the secondary. I don't love the defense as a whole outside of Parsons. I like Overshown. I like Ozigizua. I like Fowler. Other than that, I don't love the defense. And we already mentioned all the holes in the offense, man. For me, it's a 7-10 team in Dallas. I don't think they can threaten Philly for the crown of the NFC East.
No, I don't think so. I have them going, like I said, 7-10 as well. I mean, it's possible. I could see this team being a wild card team, but I don't know if they have the roster to win this division this year with how much better the Eagles are. And I don't know if the Commanders are that much better than them.
I agree there. I agree.
I wouldn't be shocked if, Dallas ends up having a better record than the Commanders, or, it's closer. Maybe they both sneak in, but I don't think there's a chance in hell that this team's winning the division over the Eagles, because they're just so much more well-rounded. And, we don't know what Dallas's offensive line is going to look like this year.
Yeah, I agree. Also, another thing, losing Dan Quinn, you saw the impact it had in the 2024 team. I just mentioned how they were garbage on defense last year. I mean, it's no coincidence they lose Dan Quinn. They were the best in the league at forcing turnovers from 2021 to 2023 under Dan Quinn. Last year, they had a -6 turnover margin, 4 in territory for Dallas, and they were 1-8 in games in which they lost the turnover battle, which is crazy. So when you're not going to, if you don't get Diggs and Bland back, because Micah Parsons is going to have his fair share of strip sacks and force some good turnovers there, but they need to be better on the back end and create more interceptions if they're going to flip the switch and become a winning team again this year.
No, you have to. You have to.
With all that being said, who is your MVP for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Dak Prescott. I mean, it's going to be the MVP for a lot of teams we break down as their quarterback. But, I mean, ultimately, this team is going to go as far as he is. I mean, we saw this team be a playoff team, and we've also seen this team, not be able to advance in the playoffs, partially because of the defense, but partially because of the fact that Dak was not able to step up. So, I think this team goes as far as he does. If he's not healthy, this team's no shot in making the playoffs. If he's healthy, then, yeah, they could be, looking at a wild card spot. So he's going to be the MVP.
I got CeeDee Lamb as the MVP. He's one of the best receivers in football, led the league in receiving in 2023 when Dak was healthy. If he goes down, this offense is in shambles because they can't operate with George Pickens as their one and not much else around them, especially when you think that they're probably going to have a bottom 3 run game in football this year. And Dak always performs better with a good run game, so it's going to put more weight on his shoulders and, in turn, CeeDee Lamb's shoulders. X factor for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025.
just the running back room in general, man. I mean, it really comes down to if they can get the run game going and maybe find, something out of one of these two rookies or these two, vets that really haven't panned out. If one of them or two of them become something and they're able to become, a 1,000-yard rusher where it's like, hey, we actually have to pay attention to this Dallas run game, and it's opening up the play action where you can get Jake Ferguson involved and, Dak on the move, hitting George Pickens downfield, all this stuff. That will bring a whole nother dynamic. And also for a young offensive line, which they are right now, like being able to run the ball is huge for them and their confidence. So that's my X factor is the running back room. I'm not sure who's going to work out. I'm hoping it's one of the rookies, but if Javonte or Miles Sanders shows, hey, we still got some in the tank and we deserve more than the $2 million contract we got. Because you got to remember those guys are playing for something too. Like Javonte Williams got a 1-year, $2 million prove-it deal. Same with Miles Sanders. So they're playing for a future opportunity, whether it's with Dallas or somewhere else. And if it doesn't work out with Dallas, I mean, they might be out of the league.
Yeah, I like that sentiment. I agree with you there. But I went a different route. The X factor for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025 is Dak Prescott. They go as he goes. If he's 2023 Dak up in the MVP conversation, this offense can mask some of the other flaws of this team, and they could be a competitive in the wild card hunt, in my opinion. Now, if he's going to be last year where they were 3-5 in his starts, lowest completion rate in QBR of his career, this team has no chance of making the playoffs. Dak also has been one of the worst playoff performing quarterbacks in recent memory. Anytime he's gone there, he's shit the bed. So let's be honest, Dallas Cowboys care about a Super Bowl. That's all Jerry Jones cares about in his waning years. He needs to step it up in the playoffs now, or the Cowboys are going to regret that monster extension they gave him, which he has 4 years left on it, very much.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair as well. Obviously, it's like I was saying with the MVP, this team goes as far as he goes.
Who is your rookie of the year for the Cowboys?
Give me Phil Maffa, baby. I'm telling you, man, he's going to win this job at some point in the season. I'm trying to get all the stock possible. I love the physical tools. I think he was a beast at Clemson. I mean, he played in a lot of big games over there. So give me Phil Maffa, man. It's wide open. I don't care what anybody says. Even if he's listed as 4th on the depth chart right now, it's wide open. And even if he does have to split time with Blue and becomes the goal line back, hey, I still think this is going to be an offense that's going to put up points. So if he gets 6-7 rushing touchdowns, it's not bad for a rookie year.
Yeah, I really thought about going Booker just because he's a mauler in the run game and this team needs it really bad. But I went Donovan Ezaraku, the edge rusher from Boston College, just with I know they have Dante Fowler and Micah Parsons, so he might be on a rotational role, which is fine for now because he's not really known for his run prowess. He's known for his pass rushing abilities. Get this guy in the field on passing downs. I mean, he was highly, highly productive at BC. I think he'd be productive for this team. Even if it's 7-8 sacks and a rotational role as a rookie, that would be awesome for this team.
Yeah, no, that would be huge. And I mean, at the end of the day, this guy put up some big numbers. What was he, 2nd in the nation behind Mike Green for sacks, correct?
Yes, he was.
Positive.
That is correct. Yep. So the production's there. And, he went to get some good tackles as well in his college days. So, I think he can translate. And he's an older prospect too, so there shouldn't be too much of a learning curve for him.
Yeah.
Now, DPOY, let's not waste our time here. It's Micah Parsons, Reagan.
So,
fantasy football, who's someone you're targeting besides your boy Phil Maffa? I mean, you want to go back to Phil Maffa?
I'm just gonna hammer it home again. I mean, you could go Jadon Blue as well. Just both of those running backs I'd be targeting because I think you can get them pretty late. I think that obviously you can get them pretty late, but I also think that it's wide open. It's wide open. So why not take the shot? You may not even have to draft them in redraft leagues. In Dynasty, throw them on your taxi spot, and in redraft, take them with your last pick. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can get a starting running back, you're going to take it. So while I don't think Blue could be a 3-down back, I still think he can have a role, especially earlier as the pass catcher, because I think looking at the team right now, he has the best skill set out of all of them. So take the shot, man. Take the chance.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to go Blue here because I do like him as a pass catcher. I just don't think he's going to get the volume to ever be in your starting fantasy lineup because he's not going to be a 3-down back with his size. So I'm going to go Jake Ferguson, hoping he doesn't burn me 2 years in a row. But he was really, really important for Prescott in 2023. We know Dak coming up through the league with Jason Witten, always loved using his tight ends. I know another mouth to feed and George Pickens is in the picture, but I think he's closer to 2023 than 2024. And if you're going best ball route, we're waiting on tight end, and you start stacking a couple of those mid-tier guys, I think Ferguson's a good one to target.
Fair. Yeah, no, I like Ferguson too. I like Ferguson. I mean, the tight end landscape's going to be interesting this year, so I'm all for that.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our Dallas Cowboys 2025 predictions episode. Drop a comment. Let us know. Can Dak lead the Cowboys to the promised land? What are your thoughts on Jerry Jones' comments about his players, his star players, getting hurt after he finally pays them what they're worth?
Yeah, cashing that Phil Maffa stock to the moon, baby. That shit's going to hit nice come the end of the season.